Alright, it's February, the month where love is mandatory, romance is scheduled, and your bank account quietly starts drafting its resignation letter. Valentine's Day is almost here, which means stores are bleeding pink, restaurants are fully booked, and society has collectively decided that one specific Tuesday determines whether your relationship is thriving or doomed. And here's the thing, some people love Valentine's Day, some people hate it. Some people pretend not to care while aggressively saying they don't care. But almost nobody stops to ask the real question, why does this holiday even exist? Because when you dig into it, Valentine's Day is less roses and romance, and more blood, goats, mystery martyrs, and medieval poetry. So chew on this. Welcome back to Brain Munchies, the show that feeds your curiosity one fact at a time. Chapter 1. The festival that absolutely was not romantic. You've probably heard this before. Valentine's Day came from an ancient Roman festival called Lupercalia. Sounds plausible. Rome, fertility, February. What could go wrong? Everything. Lupercalia wasn't about love. It wasn't about couples. It wasn't even about humans. It was a livestock fertility festival. Every year in mid-February, Romans gathered at a cave where myth said Romulus and Remus were raised by a wolf. There, priests sacrificed goats and dogs, animals chosen specifically because they reproduced enthusiastically. Then things got weird. Young men would smear animal blood on their foreheads, laugh, no one knows why, strip down, wrap themselves in animal skins, and run through the city whipping people. Yes, whipping. And over time, women who wanted children volunteered to be hit because they believed it improved fertility. That's it. That's the holiday. No hearts, no flowers, no chocolate. Not even Cupid, who was right there in Roman mythology and still somehow didn't get invited. If modern Valentine's Day came from this, dinner reservations would involve tetanus shots. So, probably not the source. Chapter 2. Did Christianity just replace it? So a different theory goes something like this. Early Christianity replaced Lupercalia the same way it did with other pagan traditions. That has happened before. Christmas landed suspiciously close to winter solstice. Easter overlaps spring fertility symbols. Church history is full of strategic rebranding. So the theory goes, Lupercalia fades out, Valentine's Day appears, problem solved. Except, there's a problem. There's absolutely no evidence. No letters, no church documents, no record saying, yes, this was intentional. Just timing. And timing alone isn't proof. Especially when Valentine's Day shares none of Lupercalia's rituals, themes, or symbolism. So if it wasn't a pagan remix. Chapter 3. Who even was Saint Valentine? Here's where it gets worse, because Saint Valentine might not be a real person, or might be several people, or might be one person whose story got copy-pasted by history. Early records mention multiple martyrs named Valentinus. Different places, different deaths, similar legends. One story says he healed a jailer's child. Another says he healed a son. Another says he converted families and got executed for it. But here's what none of the reliable evidence says. He didn't secretly marry couples. He didn't pass love notes. He didn't invent romance. He didn't inspire heart-shaped candy. Those stories show up centuries later, fully unverified, and somehow became canon. So Valentine's Day wasn't romantic because of Valentine. Chapter 4. Blame the birds. The romantic angle of Valentine's Day didn't show up until the 1300s, over 1,000 years after the holiday already existed. And it wasn't because of religion. It was because a poet noticed that birds mate in February. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote a poem suggesting that February 14th was the day birds chose their partners. The nobility loved the idea. They started exchanging notes, then poems, then traditions. Romance trickled down slowly, because most people back then were busy surviving, not scheduling intimacy. Later, Shakespeare added fuel. Diaries from the 1600s mention flirting, gift-giving, and superstition about who you see first on Valentine's morning. The holiday didn't start romantic. It became romantic. Chapter 5. Capitalism enters the chat. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Handwritten letters became mass-produced cards. Cards became products. Products became pressure. By the early 1900s, companies realized something important. Romantic obligation is profitable. Cards, candy, flowers, jewelry, dinner, expectations. By the time modern Valentine's Day was fully formed, it wasn't about saints or birds or goats. It was about monetized emotion, love, but with a receipt. So what are we left with? Valentine's Day isn't pagan. It isn't truly Christian. It isn't historically romantic. It's a patchwork holiday built from ancient rituals, forgotten martyrs, medieval poetry, and modern marketing, which explains why it feels confusing, stressful, overhyped, and oddly personal. So whether you love it, hate it, or ignore it entirely, just remember, none of this was planned, and none of it means anything about your worth. Your brain just inherited a weird tradition, and capitalism finished the job. If you want to keep chewing on strange history like this, you know what to do. Hit that like button, tag your significant other down in the comments, and subscribe. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, keep chewing on facts.